Okay, real question, guys. Why do they not allow hearsay into a court of law? Why is that something that they object to? Why is it not allowed in testimony? I need to know the real answer to that, because there's a lot of hearsay in Darlie Routiers' case in regards to her statements being inconsistent. Every single statement that is inconsistent is basically hearsay. Somebody is retelling what she said.
Oh, God, do you not understand the law?
The only time her statement is changing at all is when somebody else is repeating what she said. So,
yeah, and these people that she's repeating this to are law enforcement. Right? So, just like law enforcement, you could confess. Right? You tell Officer Joe Smith that you committed the crime, and he goes and tells the judge that you told him that. That's not hearsay. He's got to prove you didn't say that. And then you go on what you believe, who you believe. Now, there's no, Darlie told me this, Darlie told me that. There's none of that in this case.
So, somebody tell me, why is hearsay not allowed in a court of law for testimony, yet they allowed it for a prosecution of Darlie Routiers?
Because they didn't allow it, and there is none. Do you think that these lawyers are not smart enough to object? You had witness testimony. You did not have hearsay. Let me help you out a little bit here. Now, I got the hearsay rule definition from ISU, Indiana State University, which is also the university that the law school there, they brought David Cam out. David Cam was going to, he was supposed to raise the bar for Darlie and get her out. But this is the same law place that felt like Darlie was innocent for a little bit. Go see ISU for Darlie Routiers on Facebook, and you'll see how they think of her now. Anyways, here's what the hearsay rule is. Hearsay is a statement that was made outside of the courtroom, asserts facts, and is now offered in court to prove the truth of the facts asserted. The statement may have been oral, written, or even nonverbal. Hearsay works like this. Hearsay is defined in the first part of Rule 801. The definition is quite specific. And many things people say or write down do not fit the definition and are not subject to the hearsay rule at all. The officer's notes that you keep saying they didn't make. The second part of Rule 801 arbitrarily excludes a second bunch of things. The second part of Rule 801 arbitrarily excludes a second bunch of things people say or write down from the definition of hearsay. So they are not subject to the hearsay rule either. Those out-of-court statements that are defined as hearsay are declared inadmissible by Rule 802 unless they fall within an exception. Rules 803, 804, and 804 contain 30 exceptions that cover just about every kind of statement a person is likely to make that will be relevant at trial. I'll let you read it. Rule 1 and Rule 2 are there for you to read yourself. How the game is played. Step 1. Everything in the trial is running smoothly until some idiot witness mentions something that the witness heard or read. The opposing lawyer, in compliance with Rule 2, makes a hearsay objection. If the lawyer actually understood hearsay, of course, he or she would not make a hearsay objection because the lawyer would know that the evidence was in fact admissible through some loophole under Rule 1. See how it is? Step 2. Now it's your job to come up with a reason why your evidence should be admitted. The game is, name that loophole. There are 4 types of loopholes. Definitional. The evidence does not fit into the definition of hearsay under Rule 801. Exclusions. The evidence is simply excluded from the definition of hearsay by Rule 801D for no particular rational reason. C. Exceptions. The evidence falls into one of the specific exceptions listed in Rules 803 and 804. The 2 sides argue about the loophole, not the hearsay rule itself. Step 4. The judge gets tired of the whole thing, invokes Rule 2, and rules randomly, sometimes admitting the evidence and sometimes excluding it. Good judges generally admit the hearsay because of Rule 1. Here, read a little more. Well, it takes a minute to look this stuff up. There was no hearsay happening in Darlie's case. There was witness testimony from, the nurses at Baylor, the doctors at Baylor, the law enforcement, the FBI. That was witness testimony. Experts give their opinions. That's not hearsay either. Here's the rules on just about nothing is hearsay. There was no hearsay testimony given in the Darlie Routier trial, and I challenged Danelle to let us know about it. But there's your answer. You can find that at law.indiana.edu, instructions Stanford hearsay. You asked that question, and here it is. But there was no hearsay in Darlie's trial, none.